Have you ever noticed that when you start changing, not everyone celebrates it? Sometimes people question you. Sometimes they misunderstand you. Sometimes they even miss the version of you that you're trying to leave behind. And that can be incredibly confusing because you thought growth would make life easier. Instead, it feels like it's changing your relationships. Today, I want to talk about one of the least discussed parts of transformation. What happens when the world doesn't understand your growth? Welcome back to the Hero Hour, the podcast about transformation, resilience, identity, and rewriting the narratives that shape our lives. I'm Nathaniel D. Borey. Throughout this season, we've talked about becoming the hero of your own story, recognizing inherited narratives, overcoming failure, embracing reinvention, and finding purpose in difficult experiences. But growth doesn't happen in isolation. As we change, our relationships tend to change with us. And while some people will encourage us, others may not understand what we're doing or why we're doing it. That doesn't necessarily make them bad people. It simply means they're seeing us through a different lens. Today, let's talk about navigating that reality with wisdom, humility, and grace. Every relationship develops patterns. People learn what to expect from us, how we respond, how we communicate, what we believe, what we value. But when we begin changing, those expectations can be challenged. The quiet person begins speaking up. The people pleaser starts setting healthy boundaries. The person who always doubted themselves begins taking risks. The person who always avoided opportunities starts pursuing them. Those changes can surprise people around us. Sometimes they'll celebrate them. Sometimes they'll question them. And sometimes they'll simply need time to adjust. Growth doesn't just change us. It changes the dynamic between us and the people in our lives. Have you ever heard someone say, "You've changed"? Sometimes it's meant as a compliment. Sometimes it's meant as criticism. But here's something worth remembering. If you're intentionally growing, I hope you've changed. None of us are meant to stay exactly the same forever. The challenge is that other people often remember us as we were, not necessarily as we are becoming. They remember the shy student, the uncertain employee, the person who never spoke up, the one who always played it safe. And when we begin acting differently, it can feel unexpected to them. Growth asks people to update their understanding of us. That doesn't always happen overnight. Earlier this season, we talked about inherited narratives or inheritatives. Many of these narratives come with labels. Maybe you're known as the quiet one, the funny one, the responsible one, the difficult one, the dreamer, the underachiever, or the overachiever. Over time, those labels can become so familiar that other people struggle to imagine us any differently. But here's something important. You are allowed to outgrow labels that no longer fit you. You are allowed to become more confident. You are allowed to become more compassionate. You are allowed to become more disciplined. You are allowed to become more courageous. Your past may explain where you've been, but it doesn't have to limit where you're going. When people misunderstand our growth, it's easy to become defensive. It's easy to think, they just don't get me. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes people simply need time. Remember, they've been watching one version of you for years. Transformation doesn't erase history. It adds a new chapter. One of the greatest signs of growth is learning to respond with humility instead of frustration. We don't have to prove ourselves to everyone. We don't have to win every argument. Of course, I can understand how desperate you may be to win an argument, especially if there's someone you're trying to prove something to and they don't want to listen no matter how hard you try. But oftentimes, the most convincing evidence of change isn't what we say, it's how consistently we live. Let your actions tell your story. One of the greatest gifts you can find is a community that encourages growth, not people who flatter you, not people who tell you what you want to hear, but people who challenge you with kindness, who celebrate your progress, who hold you accountable, who remind you of who you're becoming when you forget. Every hero has allies. No one walks every step of the journey alone. Look for relationships built on honesty, mutual respect, grace, and a shared desire to become better together. Sometimes personal growth is misunderstood as leaving everyone behind. I don't believe that's the goal, but that is how it can feel. Growth isn't about believing you're better than other people. It's about becoming a better version of yourself. That means treating people with respect, listening before assuming, being patient, showing grace, and recognizing that everyone is on their own journey. Some people may not be ready to make the changes you're making, just as there were seasons you weren't ready either. Growth should make us more compassionate, not more prideful. If you're feeling misunderstood right now, I want to encourage you. Don't let temporary misunderstanding convince you that you're on the wrong path. Keep growing, keep learning, keep showing up with integrity. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. Your responsibility isn't to control how everyone sees you. Your responsibility is to live in a way that reflects the values you've chosen. Over time, consistency has a way of speaking louder than explanations. So here's this week's Heroes Challenge. Think about one relationship that's been affected by your personal growth. Ask yourself 3 questions. What has changed? How have I responded? And how can I approach this relationship with both honesty and compassion? Growth isn't just measured by how much we change. It's also measured by how we treat people while we're changing. One of the hardest parts of becoming the hero of your own story is realizing that not everyone will recognize the person you're becoming right away. Some people need time. Some people may never fully understand. But don't let that stop you from growing. Continue becoming someone who lives with courage, humility, integrity, and compassion. Because real transformation isn't about proving people wrong. It's about becoming the person you were always capable of becoming. Thank you for spending another Hero Hour with me. And until next time, be the hero of your own story. And as always, rewrite the narrative.